Hey everyone, so today we're going to continue GCF factoring. We're going to take a look at level 2 questions where we have both numbers and variables that we're going to have to factor out. So let's get started. Factoring out a GCF, numbers and variables. So factor the following polynomial completely. 20x to the 5th plus 18x to the 4th. So the first thing we're going to do is find the GCF of the coefficients, the numbers in front of the variables. So here we're looking at 20 and 18. We want to find the GCF of 20 and 18. You might know that off the top of your head. If not, list out the factors, find the number, the largest number that they both have in common, which is the number 2. Okay, so that's the first step, find the GCF of the numbers. Second step, identify the variable with the smallest exponent and put your number GCF, the number that you just found, and that variable GCF together. So here we're taking a look at x to the 5th and x to the 4th, and we identify which one has a smaller exponent, which is x to the 4th. So that's the smaller, that's the variable with the smaller exponent. So now we're going to take this 2 and this x to the 4th and put it together. So I'm going to write it like this. So 2x to the 4th, that is our GCF. 2x to the 4th. So basically I took the number GCF and the variable GCF and I put it all together. Okay, from there we do what we were doing before. We're going to divide each term by this GCF and to remember to subtract exponents of the like bases. So I'm going to just go ahead and write, we have 20x to the 5th plus 18x to the 4th. I'm going to divide both of those by our overall GCF, 2x to the 4th. Now, when we divide this, we know that we have to write our answer in a specific way. So let me just pull this up. Write your answer with the GCF outside of the parentheses. So I'm going to write 2x to the 4th over here. And I'm going to open my parentheses. And whatever my answer is after I divide is going to go in those parentheses. So now I'm going to look here. 20 divided by 2. I'm going to divide these numbers here. 20 divided by 2 gives me 10. So that's what goes here. And then we have x to the 5th divided by x to the 4th. Subtract your exponents. 5 minus 4 is 1. That becomes our new exponent, x to the 1st power. And you don't really need to write the 1. It would go right there, but we don't have to write it because it has that invisible 1. Now I'm going to bring down my plus sign, and I'm going to divide this. 18 divided by 2, that gives us 9. And then here we have x to the 4th divided by x to the 4th. They both have that same exponent. If we were to subtract, it would be 0. So these cancel out, and we leave it alone. We don't bring an x down. So our answer is 2x to the 4th times 10x plus 9. If we wanted to check, we can distribute, see if that's what we would end up with in the first place. Let's take a look at another example. Here we have negative 50y minus 30y to the 4th. So we're going to focus on the numbers. So I'm literally going to write it like this. GCF of numbers and GCF of y. So let's focus on the numbers first. So the largest number that can go into negative 50 and negative 30. I'm including the signs here because they're both negative. So because they're both negative, that tells me my GCF is going to be negative. Okay, so you can list out all the factors if you need to, but hopefully you can kind of just eyeball it and say, okay, the number that goes into them is 10. So this is going to be 10. So the largest number that can be divided into 50 and 30 is 10, and I made it negative. Now the GCF of y is, I'm going to take a look at which one has the smaller exponent here. So we have a y to the invisible 1 and y to the 4th. So y to the invisible 1 is is the one that's smaller. So that's going to be the GCF for y. So now I'm going to put everything all together. I'm going to put this all together in green. So our GCF is negative 10y. So that's the GCF. I'm going to take this, I'm going to rewrite it just so it doesn't look super messy. And I'm going to divide both of these by that GCF, that overall GCF of negative 10y. Now my negative 10y goes on the outside of our parentheses, and we put our answer inside the parentheses. Negative 50 divided by negative 10, that gives us a positive 5. Y divided by y is going to cancel out because they're exactly the same. So that's what goes here. Now negative 30 divided by negative 10 is a positive 3, so I'm going to put plus 3. And then y to the fourth divided by y to the first, subtract your exponents, and you get y to the third power. That is your answer here. Okay, so identify the GCF of your numbers, identify the GCF of your variables. Remember, both terms have to have that variable for it to be part of the GCF. So like if this did not have a y, it would not be part of the GCF because remember, it's a common factor. They need to have that variable in common. Divide by your GCF after you put it all together. Put that on the outside of the parentheses when you have your answer on the inside. Okay, good luck.